I'm David G, and in this video we'll be taking a look at some awesome places that you'll want to know about before visiting Dubrovnik, Croatia. We'll definitely look at some of the more popular sites in Dubrovnik, but I'll also go over a bunch of less talked about places in and around the city, and it's really a shame that some of them are not well known. I even visited Dubrovnik during peak summer season in 2023. And while popular spots in and around the Old City were completely packed, there were nearly empty beaches not so far away and much more to explore that you would not see on your typical tourist itinerary. But let's get into the most visited part of Dubrovnik, the Old City. Maybe you're into Game of Thrones or you just want to check out the city walls. The Old City is popular for a reason. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is a really impressive place to see. So by all means, check out the Old City of Dubrovnik if you haven't, but I'd advise you not to get stuck in it. When I visited during peak summer season, the Old City was nearly always overly busy. For me, this combined with the extreme heat that often blankets the city in the summer makes the Old City a place I would not choose to stay during peak summer season. And on top of that, you're likely to find much better deals outside of the Old City. But if you are planning to stay in the Old City during peak season, do know what you're getting into. That said, another time I visited Croatia, I visited during September, and there were not nearly as many crowds to deal with. Plus, the weather was still ideal for swimming. So if you don't have to travel during the peak summer months, you might consider the shoulder months of October or September. By avoiding peak summer season, you'll also find lower hotel rates and lower airfare. But regardless of when you visit and how crazy Dubrovnik's Old City is, there's still a lot to check out beyond the town. And the first place that you should definitely have in your itinerary is Lokrum Island. The island is only a 15-minute ferry ride away, and it has some of the best views of the Old City. You can get your ferry tickets and a ticket covering access to all of the sites on the island for around 27 euros. And Lokrum Island is home to many wild peacocks, which is really a sight to see. There are really a lot of peacocks around on this island. Other sites that you'll want to check out on the island are the old Benedictine monastery, the beautiful salt lake that you can even swim in, and an old fortress that has some seriously amazing views. But the dining options are limited, and the prices are sky high, so I definitely recommend bringing your own food. You'll also find a selection of beaches around the island, but do keep in mind that these are not long white sand beaches that we're talking about. In fact, the majority of beaches in Croatia are rocky, and to hit the beach the right way, you've got to bring water shoes. The sun can also get really strong during summer, so having some kind of protection from the sun will save you from sunburn or worse. And popular beaches will be packed during the summer in Croatia, but just because they're popular does not mean that they're the best beaches. The most popular beach in Dubrovnik is Banja Beach, but it's really not that big and it's likely to always be swarming with beachgoers. Instead of going there, you could try Uvala Lapad Beach if you don't want to travel too far from the Old City. But if you are willing to get a little bit further away from the Old City, there are tons of nice beaches up and down the coast. My personal favorites are the beaches around Srebreno and Kupari. They're typically much less packed during peak times, and they're only like a 15-minute drive from Dubrovnik. Kupari is also home to a massive abandoned resort complex that is both tragic and fascinating. If you're into urban exploration, then a visit to Kupari is something that you simply can't miss. But even if visiting abandoned buildings is not your thing, this time it probably should be. Just a 20-minute drive from Dubrovnik. The resort was a top-notch getaway during the time of former Yugoslavia. But in October 1991, during the Croatian War of Independence, the resort was heavily damaged and has been abandoned since then. There's just like plants growing all over inside this building. I think it should be noted that there's no sign saying don't enter or anything, but yeah, it's an abandoned building, so I'm not gonna recommend that you enter. And if you were to enter, definitely be very careful. And local rumor has it that there are plans to tear down all of these historic buildings in the near future, so you may want to visit sooner rather than later. And to learn some more about local history, a great place to check out in Dubrovnik is the Red History Museum. Entrance is reasonable enough at 9 euros per adult, and the museum offers an immersive look at what everyday life in Yugoslavia was like. There is a large collection of Yugoslavian relics presented throughout the museum, along with in-depth information in English. As a side note, the history of Dubrovnik as a city goes back many hundreds of years further than what you'll learn about in the Red History Museum. And there is much more history to learn about and many more museums to visit in the city. I just personally found this particular museum to offer a unique educational experience that you can't find anywhere else. Even the bathroom is Yugoslavian here. Dubrovnik is also well located in the sense that both Montenegro and Bosnia and Herzegovina are easy to reach, and a day trip to Montenegro is a great option. You could easily visit the Bay of Kotor and get a feeling for the local culture in just one day. Another popular day trip is to Bosnia and Herzegovina to visit the city of Mostar and its beautiful natural surroundings. While there are bus connections going to both of these countries, and you can find organized tours to them too, traveling with your own car will likely give you more time and more flexibility. And in my experience, the same concept applies to many of the places that you'll want to visit on a trip to Dubrovnik. But don't get me wrong, the public transport system in Dubrovnik is not bad at all. But to get to many of the best places, it will be easier with your own vehicle. Plus, driving in Croatia is straightforward, and the ability to stop and take in the views wherever you want is something you just don't get when you're taking the bus. So if you think you'll need to rent a car in Croatia, I put together a video to go over all the cheap car rental hacks that every traveler should know. Watching that video can really help you save some money renting a car in Croatia and avoid some of the common hassles that can come with renting a car anywhere. But that's it for today. I wish you all a great time in Dubrovnik and wherever else your travels may take you. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you all next time.